All right, my friends, well, we're back after using this phone. So it's the Mi A2 Lite, and for anybody that watched my previous video on this, which was probably over a month ago, month and a half ago, this was my very first Android phone that I've ever used. What did I think about it? Let's find that out right away. Android. Never really used it. I used it like a long time ago. I had somebody actually give me one of these little 7-inch tablets when they kind of first came out, and I was like, it's okay. But this one, of course, when you're here, so I'll just bring this up a little bit. Just turn this light maybe a little bit more. Here we go. So what we'll do is we'll just look down here and take a look at this phone. So I'm just going to turn this on. Hopefully you guys can see it all right. And we'll just do this. And you know, one of the things too with this is that, I'll just brighten this up. For me, I had to learn Android really from scratch. So a little different than iOS, which is what I use as a daily phone, is something that runs iOS. So right now I'm running an iPhone XR. Definitely some learns, but for the most part, wasn't that difficult to be able to figure out what this was. One of the biggest things for me that I wanted to be sure of was that this was going to get some updates. So pretty much instantly, the moment that I got this phone, it started doing updates, which was great because it came out of the box and it does run Android 1. It was running Android 1, I guess version 8, which sounds funny, Android 1 version 8. Android 1 is kind of a cleaned up version of Android, but it is Android 8 out of the box. But the moment that I actually opened this, it upgraded pretty much instantaneously. And I'll go to my About here. You actually see, I think, Android version 9. It's taken the upgrades, which was great. And this was a big thing for me too, being that this was, not your typical Android phone that you buy here in North America, which was like a Samsung or LG or whoever it is. This one got the update nice and fast, which was great. The other thing that I really liked about it, mostly because I run a Mac, was for me to be able to put a micro SD card, so one of these little guys, in this phone. And the bonus of that was that I could move things like photos and videos that I took off this to that SD card, pop the tray out, and then just put it in my computer and import it. So it made the process, if I took this phone out for the day, to be able to grab all those images and move them to my Mac, because I wasn't really sure how to do that outside of that. But that worked like a charm. So excellent. And the big bonus, of course, is that I can do that, which means the storage in this, even though it comes out of the box with 32 gigs, I could easily put a 64 gig chip in this and I'm good to go. And when that one fills with photos and videos, pop it out, pop another one in. Really nice to have that expandable memory. So that was really good. Now, performance-wise, for day-to-day usage, not an issue at all. Number one, it has the fingerprint scanner on the back, which was great. As you can see, I'll just touch it right now. Click. Opens plenty fast, no concerns. I'm used to having the fingerprint scanner down here when I used to have an iPhone 7 or 8. So it was a little different to go to the back, but not a big deal. The only thing that I found was, of course, if it was on the table, I had to lift it up. Whereas an iPhone, I could touch it because it was there. But when you're holding it like this, being able to just touch it on the back seems like a great place for it to be. Screen resolution on this thing is fantastic. You're looking at an LCD, so it's not an OLED or an LED, but an LCD, but it's coming in at, what does it say here? 2280 by 1080. So the resolution on here is fantastic. The pixels per inch comes in at 432. So for a phone that's coming in around the $200 mark, 432 PPI, yes please, fantastic. I am going to show you guys this, and for anybody that's thinking I want to buy this and it's going to be a performance machine, realize that it's not. So I'm going to come up here and we're going to simply bring up this lovely program here, the Antutu, which is what you and I kind of use as a benchmark for this. I'm not going to run it, but you'll see I'm getting about 79,000. Now, if you put that up against a current phone, so I'll use my iPhone XR. The iPhone XR comes in at about 320-ish, 350-ish thousand. So you're getting substantially more processing power and graphics power coming out of that phone. But it is a phone that costs 4 to 5 times the amount if you were to buy it outright. Now, if you get that phone on a contract, it may cost you nothing. So just kind of, you want to weigh that. But for me, this, 80,000 came in close. Actually, if you think about iPhones, it came in close to really somewhere around an iPhone 5S, iPhone 6. Kind of be aware of that kind of information. But my one battery just decided to on my light. So be aware. We're just going to come back here. Ignore the darkening. Anyway, one of the things too is that really, even though this is benchmarking, seems slow, day-to-day use is fantastic. Like coming in here, hitting your buttons, everything slides off, super smooth, clicking on these, the movement, no pause, no hesitation. I haven't had this phone have to restart. I've been super happy with it. Buttons, I don't have a lot of software on here. I basically had the software that it came with, which was a lot of the Google apps. And of course, I put some things like Amazon and some benchmark software and just software that I would use. I put the Snopa app for my gimbal. But here's one for us, just because. So as far as gaming goes, really, if you want to play something, I downloaded this game here, which was Asphalt 9. Asphalt. You can kind of see here when I open this. It takes a minute to open. But that's okay. It's opening. Now I will have to admit that my iPhone XR does open this a little faster, but in regards to playing it, you really couldn't see any difference. So here it is. Next. Play. Ready? Come up here. Sure. And you can see that it loads plenty fast. All right, here we go. So that is completely playable. No issues at all with this. It runs fast. What more can you ask for? So, of course, the other thing is just sound in general. So what does the speaker sound like? Well, the speakers sound decent. So I got my mic up here. It's not the best smartphone that I've ever heard, but, it plays good. So let's play some music real fast here. Let me bring up my music. So it's not bassy by any means, but it's gonna get you by. Again, $200 phone. I'm not gonna complain too much over it. The last thing that I'm gonna talk about today is the photo and video. So photographs, I'm gonna put a bunch of screens up right here so you guys can kind of go through them. And the one on the left is gonna be the Mi A2 Lite, sorry. And the one on the right is gonna be the iPhone XR. Now, honestly, for almost every one of these, I'd say the XR is a bit better, but I was really, really surprised at how well this phone held up. You can even see one of these photos, which is a photo of my daughter, is in the portrait mode. And we do see a lot of these lower end Chinese phones when they do portrait mode is a complete fake where it's literally just blurring out the outside. This one definitely looks like it's trying to imitate depth. So we get that real blur in there. Again, not maybe quite as good as, say, an iPhone X or XR, but it's doing it, which I was super surprised with. Now, the other thing we can look at while that's finishing is that if we look at, let's say, the selfie camera. So if I come up here and actually bring up the camera, and I'm not going to put the iPhone XR up here for the camera because, of course, it's filming. It's this guy filming right here. I'm going to bring the camera up right here, and we're going to do a selfie shot. Ready? Here I am with this light. Okay, and that's it. I'm going to put that photo up here so you guys can see it because it's important for you guys to see what the selfie does. And this is in this kind of lighting, so outside in the daytime, I would say it would get even better. But this is a good resemblance. You can see how it's doing detail and things like that. Lastly would be videos. So I recorded a bunch of video here in 1080, so on both, again on my iPhone XR as well as the Mi. So the Mi is going to come up first, followed by what should be really close representation of that same shot on the iPhone XR. I'll let you guys look at these. They'll come up for the next 30 or 40 seconds. One of the things to be kind of aware of that I noticed with the Mi phone was that, especially when it started getting a little darker, it did have a little bit more issue in focusing. Finding that focus point was a little tougher for it, understandable. And secondly, I did find that when we were out, and we were out in like a snowstorm at night, it was snowing quite a bit, it had a fair bit of problems actually finding white balance, where you would see the image kind of go yellow and then blue and then yellow and then blue and then yellow and then blue. But it only happened once, and it only happened in that scenario. So I don't think that's an overall thing, because for the most part, when I shot this in the day or when I shot it with something that was consistent lighting, be it indoors or outdoors, it was pretty much the same all the time. I did find that it had a tendency to fall to the warm side, but that's something that you and I can change or manipulate a little bit in post if we have to. Do I think this phone is a solid investment for $200-ish? So in American money, you're looking at a little under. In Canadian, you're looking at a little over. Yeah, 100%. I'm super happy that I have this. It's a great little phone. And if something were to happen to my iPhone XR, this would be a great phone for me to carry until I replace that or got a new one. Now, is this going to replace that phone? Oh no, not right now, because that's a $1,000 phone versus a $200 phone. So not at all. But super happy to have it. I definitely am going to use it. Oh, one last thing, battery life. I tried for a couple days and I put my SIM card from my XR in, so calls and everything were great. I was getting probably close to, honestly, I got a 4,000 milliamp battery in it. I was getting close to, I would say, a day and a half to 2 days worth of battery, which is awesome. And when I took my SIM card out and put it back in here and just used this for getting email and for browsing the web and playing games and listening to music and things like that, I was getting 3 to 4 days. So when I pulled that SIM out and I was just using it as a really just like a little computer, almost 4 days, which was awesome. All right, my friends, that's it for today. That's all. The Mi A2 Lite. I'm going to put a link down below if you guys want to go get one, because I think it's a great phone. I'm super happy. Again, I don't have a lot to base it against except for iPhones, but I'm pleased, very pleased. All right, my friends, that's it for today. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and you and I will talk to each other again. Mi A2 Lite. Not bad at all. Later, guys.